Hello, so in this video I'm going to show you how to attach the sleeves, how to start the sleeves of your sweater. So I've made a tiny little sample to show you. And the first thing you're going to do is put your stitches back onto a needle. If you used waste yarn, you can actually leave it in to use it as a lifeline just in case you want to rip back to the edge, then you'll be able to do that really easily, which is kind of convenient. So the first row you're just going to knit across just like you did with your front and back panels. So let's go ahead and knit across this row. And then after that, on the first wrong side row, we are going to establish the pattern. All right, so we have almost knit across. There we go. So we're going to flip it over. And on this wrong side row, we're going to purl 3, and then we'll place a marker, and then we're going to start our seed stitch. So let's purl 3, and I like to keep these edge stitches nice and tight, just to make sure that they look really nice. So let's add marker, purl 3, and then we're going to knit until those last 3 stitches, or do seed stitch, sorry, until the last 3 stitches. So knit, purl, knit, purl. This is called a Norwegian purl, by the way. If you knit continentally, you leave your yarn in the back, which I really like, and you put your needle behind it, put it down through, and you like wrap it around, and it just makes it a lot easier to purl in that continental style of knitting. All right, so we have 2 more. Knit, purl, and we're going to place a marker, and then purl the last 3. All right, so then we'll flip it over again, and this is the first row where we're going to connect it to the side panels, and we're also going to do an increase. So for these, you're going to take these slipped stitches that you did from your front and back panels, and you're actually going to knit into those. So I'm going to take my left hand needle and put it into that first slipped stitch, and then I'm going to knit 2 together, and it connects the 2, and then we'll knit these next 2 stitches, slip the marker, make 1 to the left, so you're going to put your needle in the front and then knit into the back of the stitch, and then you're going to continue in seed stitch. So that last stitch was a knit stitch, so we're going to purl this one, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit until we get to our marker, knit, purl. I don't know if anyone else says them under their breath while they're doing it, but it usually keeps me on track. All right, so then our next one is going to be to make 1 right, so we're going to insert it from the back if I can, and then knit into the front of the stitch. These are always a little bit trickier. Slip the marker, and we're going to knit, knit, and then slip, slip, knit. So we'll take this first stitch and we'll slip that, and then our second stitch is actually way over here. And we're gonna put that one on and then knit. I usually slip 1 knitwise, slip 1 purlwise, and then knit through the back loop. So there we go, we're attached. It doesn't look great yet, but it'll look better as we keep going. So then this next stitch, or the next row, we are going to, we're on the purl side, the wrong side. Oof, my yarn is a mess here. So we will purl 3. I always kind of revert back to English style of knitting to keep these really nice and tight, and then I'll flip it to continental. Slip the marker, and then this part's always a little bit tricky, so a little trick here is you go back 3 stitches. So for this one, this was a knit stitch, so that's going to be a purl, which means this is a knit, which means this one's a purl, because it's kind of hard to tell right here. These always look like it was a purl bump. So purl, knit, purl. So this will be a purl, knit, purl, and then before you get too far into the row, it's always a good idea to double check and just make sure that your seed stitch is all lined up, because we don't want it to be cattywampus. Knit, purl, knit. My yarn's in a giant ball over here. Here we go. Purl, slip marker, and then purl 3. And then we'll do one more row to show you one more time how to attach those stitches and what it looks like after a little while. Let me pull my needle out of this mess over here using scrap yarn to make this little sample. All right, so we're going to knit 2 together. So find that second stitch. This is the one that we were knitting into before, so this is the second one right here. You put it through the back, make sure your yarn's in back, and then go into those 2 stitches, pull it through, and then knit, knit, slip the marker, and then we're going to make one to the left. So you put your needle in the front, knit into the back, then seed stitch. So each of those right side rows, you're increasing 2 stitches, and you're also attaching it to the side panels. And then on the wrong side, you're just going across and seed stitch. All right, we're going to make one to the right. So put the needle in the back, knit into the front, slip that marker, knit 2, and then we're going to slip. Our other one is kind of hiding over here. Slip, and then knit through the back loop. And then that should, especially if you tighten up those stitches, it really leaves a nice edge right there, that raglan look. So that's how you add the sleeves to your sweater. Thanks for watching.